everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. For today's recipe, we're gonna prepare beef enchiladas. And we're also gonna prepare our very own red sauce to go with the enchiladas. Let's get started. We're gonna get started by boiling our peppers to prepare the sauce. And for that, we're gonna need 6 chile guajillos. These I already washed, removed the stems and the seeds. And I'm also gonna add a small handful of chiles de árbol to add a little bit of spice. And 2 Roma tomatoes. Boil these ingredients for about 5 minutes, then turn off the burner and cover for 15 to 20 minutes. In a separate pan, we're going to brown 1 pound of ground beef. When making enchiladas, I like to use the one that has a 20% fat content. If you use one that has a higher percent fat content, you may have to drain out some of the excess fat before adding in your vegetables. Using a wooden spoon, we're going to break down the meat and we're going to cook over medium-high heat for about 8 to 10 minutes or until we no longer see red in the meat. Then we're going to add half an onion and 2 garlic cloves finely chopped. And I'm also going to add 3 chopped jalapenos. The jalapenos I used are fairly large, therefore they're not going to be too spicy. If you don't want your spicy, you can substitute the jalapeno for a green bell pepper, or you can use a combination of red and green. We're going to mix in these ingredients and we're going to saute for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're going to add in our seasonings. For seasonings, I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix in the seasonings, and for the last ingredient, I'm going to add 3 ounces of tomato sauce. Saute over low-medium heat for an additional 2 to 3 minutes. Turn off the burner and cover while we prepare the sauce for the enchiladas. To prepare the sauce, we're going to blend the tomatoes and the peppers that we soaked in the hot water. And we're also going to add 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of Mexican oregano, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and 1 tablespoon of tomato or chicken bouillon. To help blend the ingredients, add 1 cup of water or some water from the pot. Blend for 1 to 2 minutes or until it's nice and smooth. Depending on the brand of your blender, you can add it directly into the saucepan or you can strain it in. Add a small amount of water to the blender to get the remainder of the residue that's stuck inside of the glass. Then pour it into the strainer as well. Once all the sauce has gone through the strainer, discard of the residue. Bring to a simmer over low-medium heat. Once it reaches a light simmer, taste it to see if it needs additional salt or chicken bouillon, and add as needed. If you happen to add too much water or if your sauce is not thickening up, you can easily fix that by dissolving a teaspoon of cornstarch in a small amount of water. Then add it into the saucepan and simmer until it reaches a light thickness. Before preparing the enchiladas, we're going to lightly fry our corn tortillas for a few seconds on each side or until the tortillas are nice and pliable. You can also skip this step altogether and warm them up on a skillet or in a microwave. But I find that frying them first keeps the tortillas from falling apart or getting mushy once you add the sauce. Once we have a few tortillas ready, we're going to begin to prepare the enchiladas. But first, we're going to add a spoonful of the sauce to the bottom of the baking dish. To prepare the enchiladas, I'm going to use a combination of cheddar jack and Chihuahua cheese. Add a spoonful of the cheese and a spoonful of the ground beef. Very carefully fold close the enchilada and place it in the baking dish with the flap towards the bottom. Repeat the process with the rest of the tortillas until we fill the baking dish. I'm also going to reserve a small amount of the ground beef aside so we can garnish the enchiladas once we're done. Once we're done filling the baking dish, we're going to pour more of the enchilada sauce over the enchiladas. Then I'm going to top it off with more cheese. The cheese I'm using, I grated it myself and combined them. You can also use the Fiesta or Mexican blend cheese, which is a combination of Monterey Jack, cheddar, asadero, and quesadilla cheese. And the ground beef that we set aside, we're going to use it to garnish the enchiladas. Add more of the enchilada sauce and more cheese. You can also top it off with black olives, but that is completely up to you. We're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes or until the cheese is nice and melted. And here is the end result. These look absolutely amazing. My mouth is watering already. I can't wait to try these. Now for toppings, you can top them off with lettuce, cilantro, queso fresco, sour cream, avocado, or whatever other toppings that you prefer. We decided to go with a little bit of pico de gallo and queso fresco. And now for my favorite part, the taste test.
Was good.
steal some from your plate. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is really good. Turned out better than the last ones I made. The beef. No se deja. Mmm.
Mm.